Morning, how's everybody doing?
Wonderful.
Ready.
Wait, hold
Doing
on.
great.
I'm just in an office meeting. Let me just put myself on hold. Hold on.
How
Fantastic.
you feeling, Rob? You feeling better?
A little bit better, yeah.
Well, good.
Fantastic.
Hey, Rob,
Um,
before we get started, could I just make just say something about what I've noticed of late? In
Sure.
that, I know that we all pretty much use hot sheets to keep track of what's coming on and going off the market. And my perception of late is that there is a dramatic increase in the coming soons and the newly active listings coming onto the market, which is a great sign. And so if you've kind of been like sitting back and waiting for things to change, that's going to make your life better. It's changing now, and you don't want it to get past you. So pay attention because it's getting exciting again, and I think we all can take advantage of that.
Thank you.
and are you seeing a lot of people not putting compensation out yet?
No, I haven't seen that.
Anybody in Florida, are you seeing a lot of people not putting?
A few,
Oh, you're using it?
yeah.
I haven't seen any, Rob. None.
I saw someone in Jersey put a flat fee of $20,000.
For a commission or a concession, or that was a commission?
Yeah, that was disclosed as a buyer's commission.
Fantastic. So for all of
What was
us,
this?
go ahead.
I was wondering what the sale price of the property was that they were putting a $20,000 compensation out of.
That was Netta, right?
It's Jeff.
No, it was Netta that I think it put
Yes,
the
that was
comment.
me. Yes, that was me.
So, and Jeff's question was, how big was the sale price for that 20,000 they were offering?
It was a little bit over $1 million.
So it's around
Oh.
2%.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I was
No, I calculated it. It was about 1.75%, something silly like that.
okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see if Frank was on from Armato down in Florida, because I noticed rates were trending down until something happened this morning, right? We had a little bump in the road, Frank.
We did this morning. The unemployment numbers came out, and the expectation was about 190,000 new jobs, but the Labor Department came out and reported 272,000 new jobs, which is good for the economy, but unfortunately, it's not good for the bond market. We were probably trending at a 4.25, 4.29 10-year yield. But this morning it jumped up, and as everybody knows, when the yield goes up, rates go up potentially. But listen, rates will go up. They will come down at any given week. We'll average about 0.25% up or down. But the rates are still great. They're in the upper sixes, low sevens. Government loans are probably more in the sixes than versus the sevens. So rates are still good, and I don't want to lose sight on just because we had a bad unemployment number for the mortgage rates. The economy is growing. Rates are relatively still good, and the housing prices are increasing. So as we've talked about in the past, renting, you're paying 100% interest.
Right.
Mortgage rates, you're paying 7% interest.
All right, Frank.
Yeah, all right, I got it. So yeah, so renting, again, as we've talked about, you're paying 100% interest with no wealth growth, but buying at a 7% interest with a 5% return on properties is still a great time. So let's go out this weekend, put a positive spin on this, and rates are still good. There's a lot of programs out there for first-time home buyers. So let's make it a great weekend. Rob, you're muted. There you
Yeah.
go.
So Frank, I heard you had said that something was at 4 point something%. You need to clarify that, and maybe now that we're
Yeah,
going to
so
be a little bit more involved with the buyer conversation, can you maybe just connect the dots between
yeah,
the
sure.
10-year and
Yeah.
mortgage rates?
Right. So we benchmark our interest rates off of the 10-year Treasury. If the price of if the price of the coupon goes up, it pushes the yield down. So if the 10-year yield is at 4.25, rates can come down. If the 10-year yield goes to 4.5%, it pushes rates up. So if you look at the 10-year, without getting into any numbers, if you see the 10-year treasury yield dropping, potentially rates can drop. If they go up, rates are going up. So yesterday we closed, I think, at 4.29. This right now it's at 4.42. So the yield is up, which means today when pricing comes out in about an hour, the rates will be up a little bit from yesterday. But again, if it's up, it might be up 1/8%. So it's not a big increase in rates. So rates, again, we're still averaging that mid sixes, upper sixes to low sevens on a 30-year. So if you follow the 10-year, the yield, you'll see if the rates are going up or down.
Great. So, what was, it was as high as almost 5, right, before?
Oh gosh, it was 4.7 something. It was in the upper fours. Yeah, it was. But a month or two ago, rates were pushing close to 8%. Now we're back in that 7% range. The average 30-year rate right now is 7%. That's the national average. So rates have definitely come down in the last several months. The Feds are meeting next week, the 11th and the 12th. I doubt they're going to cut rates. We know they're not, maybe not this year at all. Who knows? We'll see. But the results will be out next Wednesday on the 12th. The Feds will make their decision on which way they're going.
But the good news is we're all staying in the business regardless of rate cut or not. So
That's right. Good time to
just-
buy.
it's good to be informed, and that's a kind of a good entree into the conversation. I have to admit, I've been talking about putting this together for a while, and I have a kind of a presentation to go along with the conversation for our buyer appointments. And there is just so much data out there that you can confuse people, and there's so much data out there that you can convince people. And I'm going to have this this presentation customizable, and I also want to get some feedback as to what your take is, maybe for the last 10 minutes of our meeting or so. So let me just see if I can grab it and then put it up on the screen here. Let me find it here. Technical difficulties here for a second. All right, it's working. Let me share my screen and we'll get started. And I'm going to talk to myself here as if I was talking to a client as well. Okay, so this is what I came up with in terms of a virtual conversation book. We had done one several months back, and I used Steve from the Morris Agent team as the example. But this would be the conversation, a little bit about who you are, maybe even put a video link in.
Growing up in northern New Jersey, I've been able to experience everything that our area has.
Could you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have you can put a little bit of about me, and if you send it to them in advance. A home is a place where memories are made. This is kind of like an emotional piece, where memories are made is the backdrop for holidays. A lot of this stuff is from Keeping Current Matters, family gatherings, special moments, home ownership benefits. You have non-financial and financial, and here's the non-financial benefits. And I might be missing some, which is where I need your help. But your non-financial benefits would be lifestyle. Homeowners surveyed are 150% happier than renters, and can make whatever improvements they need for the landlord. They need without the need for a landlord approval, and subsequently enjoy all the personal and financial benefits of the stability. Homeowners on average reside in their homes for 8 years versus just under 2.5 years for a renter. The median tenure for a homeowner is 13.2, with 82% of homeowners staying between 6 and 15 years. Renters relocated 3 times more frequently than homeowners. Education, children of homeowners outperform children of renters by 9% in math and 7% in reading, with less behavioral problems, according to a Harvard study. And 74% of homeowners reported improved health since moving to their new home, which is all things that honestly I suspected, but I didn't really have any quantifiable information on that. Lifestyle, I kind of just elaborated on it. Stability. I put in here the emotional value of homeownership, which is most homeowners and renters agree that many financial and emotional benefits of homeownership. The idea of owning a home brings emotional fulfillment and rather than added stress. Prospective home buyers would prefer to own a home for the sense of permanence and emotional stability rather than the flexibility of renting. And of prospective home buyers, they said that owning a home is the best long-term decision for them to have control over their living space. All really basic stuff, but I think probably is worthwhile in elaborating. Here's some more on the,
What about,
yes.
what about tax benefits?
So we're going to go into the financial piece in a little bit, Eric. So this is a very long, all-encompassing presentation. So we have the education. Here's some statistics. I think a lot of buyers, probably put, having a good place for their family is a very high priority. And here's some data to support, maybe why they want to, even invest a little bit more than paying rent, or, maybe this will be the impetus for them to trade up from where they are now. So benefits, higher graduation rates and higher secondary school attendance for children in households of homeowners. Health, privacy, and safety. Didn't know this, but 74% of homeowners reported improved health since moving to their new home. I don't know if that's mental, physical, combination of both. Mental health. So if you have poor housing, it's poor physical and mental health, inferior education, and impaired lifetime earning opportunity. Here's some other stats on, the health, privacy, and safety. Now we get over here, Eric, to the financial impact. So the wealth effect and financial literacy. So, and I'm just going to role play with you, Eric, as if you were the prospective buyer. Home ownership provides a hedge against inflation. As inflation goes up, you want to have fixed assets, not paper dollars. You'd like to have fixed housing payments over time with the ability to lower payments when interest rates decline, while rent will always increase over time. Tax advantages with homeownership: interest and taxes are generally tax deductible. Compound appreciation and the rule of 72. I'm going to go into that with you, Eric, a little bit later, so don't feel like I'm jumping along too quickly. Wealth accumulation, amortization reduces your balance over time, and fixed rate mortgages give you the ability to pay down your mortgage with deflated dollars over time. And this is something that, as I was doing my research, a lot of this on KCM, if you're paying your home off 15 or 30 years down the road, those dollars are worth a heck of a lot less than they were when you borrowed them. And that's something that I really didn't factor in, because I factored the interest that you're paying, right? So I'm paying, 7% interest. I can relate to that. But as we go further down the road, in 10 years, when I pay that principal off, that's a lot less valuable than it was today. I don't know, Eric, did you ever think about that?
I'm not following that, Rob.
Okay, so if you go to buy a car now, right?
Yeah,
What does what does a new Land Rover or Range Rover cost?
$100,000.
And what did it cost 15 years ago? 40,
75 or 80.
80,
40,000, 50,000?
probably 80.
So if you're paying it off from 10 years ago, you're paying it off with dollars that are 20% less, right? Groceries, everything that you buy, 10 years ago, you could have got 20 to 40% more for your dollar, right? Because
Right.
now with inflation, your dollar is worth less than it was when you took your mortgage out 10 years ago. So now you're paying it off with cheaper dollars today. All right. That I really have to admit, I didn't think about it that much, but that really has a pretty big impact. And if you take out a 30-year fixed rate mortgage today, and then you look 30 years down the road, things that you're buying today, 30 years down the road are going to be dramatically more expensive, yet I'm paying my loan off with deflated dollars from 30 years ago, from 30 years in the future. Does that make any sense,
Jesus, it's above my pay scale.
Eric?
I'm pretty good with math. It's got me a little fuzzy.
So in 15 years from now, to buy a new Range Rover that's 100,000 today, it's probably going to be at least 150,000, right?
Right.
So your dollar is worth 30 to 50% less in 10 to 15 years from now, right? But the
Yeah.
principal that you're paying off is fixed. It's defined today. You're paying off a certain amount every month. So that the dollars that you pay off 15 years from now are not worth as much as the dollars that you have in your pocket today that you borrowed. I'm going to leave it at that, and we can talk about that more at the end if we have time.
There you go. Yeah.
Liquidity, real estate, as you go over time and you get more equity in your home, you can tap into your equity by doing a few different things. You can do a home equity loan, or you can refinance your house, and that gives you liquidity. A lot of people that buy investment properties, some people, they buy it, they renovate, they rent it, and then they refinance it, the 3 R's. And then they take the profit out, or a significant part of it, and then they buy another one, and then they repeat it. So you have liquidity, you have capital gains tax exclusion. Is anybody aware of the capital gains benefits of home ownership?
Yes,
And what are they?
well, you get 250 for a single and 500 for a couple.
And that's pretty significant, and more significant in New Jersey than in Florida, where there's state income tax here, and the federal government follows the states follow the federal government in most of the states, so that if there's no income tax on it federally, you don't pay it statewide, which, a $500,000 gain that's tax-free is equivalent to like a $700,000 or $800,000 tax gain, maybe even more. And simply, if you live in the house 2 of the past 5 years, and it can be done every 2 years. And then investment properties allow you to shelter income through depreciation and defer taxes on income until the property is sold. If you convert your primary residence to an investment property afterwards,
No, that's a different number. So
or if you purchase it as an investment,
973-906.
the IRS and most
Donna?
states have preferential tax treatment for capital gains.
Okay, what is this cell 9?
Okay. So I just muted everybody. If you have any questions, unmute yourself. And here's a chart from my friend at Keeping Current Matters, showing you price appreciation over the past 60 years. And I think this on the big chart is the 2007 to 9 financial crisis. Until recently, I didn't know this stat. And I think if we don't know this stat, we're doing a great disservice to our client base, which is the average homeowner in the US is 40 times wealthier than the average renter. And I heard Byron Lazine this morning say it was 75 times wealthier. But either way, it's significant. It's not 40%, it's not 4 times, it's 40 times wealthier. And it even goes and shows you by income level. So, if your client's making, $175,000, by owning a house compared to their peer group, they're going to be $700,000 wealthier than their peer group as a homeowner versus a renter in general terms. All right. Is there anyone on the call that didn't know that stat? And here's one that I definitely didn't know until I did my research. And this is from, I think, the end of 2023. It's the most recent one I could find, which was from CoreLogics, which says the residential real estate housing market is the biggest asset class in the country. I'll repeat that. The residential real estate market is the biggest asset class in the country. So the market cap of all publicly traded companies is $40 trillion. The market cap of all residential real estate was estimated at $43.5 trillion. That just blows my mind. Does that surprise anybody that real estate across the country is worth more than all the stocks? Maybe it's just me.
No, me too.
And I feel like if somebody's looking into home ownership, they should almost be required to up their financial literacy. And let's just say that you defer buying a house for 3 years, right? In 2 years from now, if you bought that same house, assuming you'd have to pay $30,000 more, but in 5 years, you would probably only be worth $460 based on this chart, and have $30,000 of appreciation versus $85,000 worth of home appreciation. And I've always struggled with how to answer the question of, hey, Rob, you're in New Jersey and Florida. What's housing going to do? Is that going to go up or down? And, I almost feel like if I make the wrong call, I kind of get blamed either way. I prevented somebody from making an investment, or they made an investment and it didn't meet the expectations that I had. So if I use third-party information to make my decisions, I think that is a lot more independent and unbiased. So here's the estimate from I think this is either the homeowner survey, or it's an aggregate of the 6 or 7 financial institutions that do forecasts. So that looks pretty, reasonable and modest. And the $83,385 gain on a $400,000 house is pretty significant motivation to get somebody to buy. America's opinion on best long-term investments. Savings, 13%, gold, 18%, stocks and mutual funds, 22%, and real estate, 36%. Okay. Expect rates to come down in the second half of 2024, but remain above 6% this year. Mortgage rate projections. And this is where I would talk about the sensitivity of buyer activity to mortgage rates. Demand based on rate environment. If the rates start to drop to the 6s or below 7, the demand is going to become very, very high. And if it gets to 6%, you're going to have strong demand and inventory shortages. Why use a realtor when buying a house? I don't want to insult you by reading it, but this is basically, you know, what do we do as a business? 80 or 91% of respondents said it would be very stressful to navigate the process without a real estate agent or broker, and 87% believe a real estate agent or broker is a trusted advisor. To give you a better idea of a few of the top ways agents add value: industry expertise, local knowledge, explain pricing and market value. And there's a little bit of a faux pas. This, I'm off by a page here. I'll have Fred fix it, but like this and this page should be together. Review contracts and fine print. Bring negotiation expertise. You know, we're educators and negotiators. I've outlined 9 steps, a little chart. Things we do if your home isn't on the MLS, and this is something that you need to decide if you're willing to do it or if you're not, and then these slides can be edited out. Direct mail to a target neighborhood. So if you're working with a $700,000 buyer in Plantation, or a $400,000 buyer in, you know, Roselle Park, you have to decide, what are you going to do if you can't find that house? Are you willing to do a mailing? Are you willing to do a campaign of door knocking? And when it comes to making an offer and analyzing the overall market, I think this is where we need to shine, and we need to put some separation between ourselves and the rest of the competition. So in this particular case, I have a pretend buyer in Union, New Jersey. I'm looking for a 4-bedroom property up to $650 purchase price. So I would share with you that, look at, here's the active listing count, and you can see that listing in the past 5 years has been going down. And even though nationally inventory happens to be rising, in Union County, New Jersey, and particularly Union Township, inventory is very low. All right, and pending sales, you know, pending sales are rising on the both national level and the local level. And it really bugs me that these aren't right next to each other, but you can see that inventory is low and pending sales are high. So that's a formula for a competitive marketplace. Median list price is $525, and that's for all properties in Union Township. And the median days on market are, looks like it's sub 30. Now, if you look at this here, nationally, the days on market is dropping, and it looks like for the past couple of months in Union, it dropped and then it went up a little bit. So each market is very local and unique. So I'm going to stop right here. I want to just, you know, talk to my esteemed group of professionals. What do you do when you have a buyer that's looking to make an offer? Anyone want to share the process that you have so we can all benefit before I pollute the environment with my thoughts? Anybody?
What kind of process do you want to know, Rob? Like, because for us, we have the buyer consultation up front, have the pre-approval up front. So when we're getting ready to make an offer, we've already assessed what the market is with the client. In this type of market right now, most of the time we're able to negotiate, but you know, if it's the market when there's multiple offers, then we are already pitching them about what multiple offers means and what type of a stronger contract looks like. So what would you like to know?
So, so Scott, if I was looking to, like, what town are most of your buyers in?
I'm dealing with 4 buyers right now. One of them looking around the Sunrise area, one of them looking around the East Fort Lauderdale, Oakland Park area. Another one that is looking into actually Tamarack Sunrise area. So I got a couple.
So in Sunrise, right, is it a buyer's market yet, or is it a seller's market, or it depends?
So it depends on the price point. Right now, we have people who, if you're in the most affordable sector, which is really around the $450,000 and under range, those homes are going super fast because there's few of them and they're the most affordable. The homes that are in the middle range, around like the 6 to 700, I think if they're priced right, if they're renovated, we're still seeing them go. I've got one client that I swear every house he likes is gone in 5 days. The homes that are in the $1 million price range, those tend to sit longer.
Okay, so if I'm in that frothy $400,000 price range, right? Are there 5 homes for me to see, 10 homes, or is it limited inventory there?
Limited inventory, less than 10 homes.
Definitely.
Okay. So if you showed me 5 homes and I say, hey, Scott, there are 2 I'm interested in, how do you open the conversation about submitting an offer?
We're going to talk about that. There are probably 15 other people that are going to be looking at this home just like you, because there are limited options, and that we want to be able to make, excuse me, a strong offer. We'll of course run the comps for the community, let the buyer know how much the other homes have sold for, if there's pending ones, how much that was listed for, and how many days before it went under contract. On a price point like that, we're more likely going to recommend a full price offer. Let the client know we have a better opportunity if we need during negotiation stages of inspection to get things repaired or fixed to make sure that it's still a good home. But we would probably recommend at this point, unless it's overpriced, of course, a full price offer to be able to ensure that we beat out the other people. Shorter inspection times is, of course, something that is stronger when making a offer, and 30-day close or whatever's better for the actual seller, which is something we always ask the agent. We always find out what is the seller looking for. Are they looking for a fast close, longer close? If they need a post occupancy, being able to offer that to a seller is sometimes more important than a few dollars. So, you got to go through all the check marks to make sure that your presentation of your buyer's offer is the strongest offer on the table.
So Scott, if I say, you know what, I really love this place, is full price good enough? Like, how do you go that next level?
To discussing with the buyer, discussing to the seller's agent.
No. So I'm the buyer, and I say,
Oh.
these 2 would work, but the first one is, I really want to get that, but I want to get it to the point where I don't overpay, but I don't want to lose it. What do you recommend, Scott?
So I would recommend, first of all, when we look at the comps, did it price right? Is it underpriced, and that's why it's selling so fast? So there are some agents who just don't realize what the market is, and they do underprice homes. And of course, we have the other ones that overprice. So it's really important to actually do the comps and know the neighborhood. And once you know that answer, then you can better talk to your buyer and say, hey, Rob, this particular home, they actually priced it right. I believe it's going to appraise at this price, maybe even a little bit more, depending on if they're going, FHA, conventional, if they've got cash extra, if there's multiple offers, or we think there's going to be, we want to make a strong contract, but maybe we want to go 2,500 over. It's not a high price. It's not going to affect your payment, but it could be just enough to persuade the seller to take our offer. It's really each neighborhood. I'm sure everybody on this call is going to agree. You can't generalize that. You got to go individually on each house, and based on the comps, based on, what the house is, renovated, not renovated, is it original, how, the roof, etc.
So I want to get your opinion on this part, Scott, because I love what you're talking about. And I think that this may give us the ability to be a little bit more granular with how we address that. Gotta get back to where we were.
Growing up in northern New Jersey, I've been able to experience everything that our area
Okay, analyzing the market and look at comp sales for similar homes. This is really, really tiny.
Mhm.
But what I did is I looked at the residential properties that had sold, and you can barely see it here, but it shows you the list price to sale price. On the far right column, it has days on market,
Mhm.
and it shows that in Union Township, in the price range that my hypothetical buyer was in, the average list to sale price was 105. Now, if somebody said, I love the property, do you come in at 106? Like, or is there more information that we need? What do you think, Scott?
How many days on market was it for the 105?
Well, no, so there was 18 properties I took, all of them. They range
Yeah.
from 7 to 119. If you eliminate the highest one, it's basically, or the highest two, it's basically 7 to 38 days.
Okay. So if you're 7 to 38 days, then that would mean that there's probably a little negotiation room, and the asking price, or maybe even a few dollars less. Again, it depends on if it's the most renovated house in that section, that's a different story. But if we're looking at the comps and do the comparison, it sounds like there might be, a full price offer right there, or maybe a little negotiation. If you're the first day on the market, then you're always going to have to be probably a little bit more aggressive. If you're at 15 to 20 days on the market, it's been 2 weeks, they haven't received an offer. Now you can be a little bit softer in the offer that you present. Everything is relative to days on market, and the seller's perception of how hot their house was. If they get
So-
offers in the first week, you're competing.
So Scott, maybe, here's what I did is I looked at my MLS at homes that sold in under 10 days, and they were selling for 112%
Yep.
of original ask price, and homes over 30 days on the market were selling for 102. Do you think that's something that is valuable to share with the buyers?
100%. Like I said, when you do the comps, that's what you get. And then you show the buyer. And if the buyer, doesn't want to go at that percentage, they're probably going to lose the first couple offers until they realize that that's the game they have to play.
Yep. So I think that, really stepping it up to that next level is also, Scott, if this house is fresh on the market, we had a hard time getting an appointment, would you think this one's going to be gone in the first 10 days?
Yes,
Probably, right?
absolutely.
And Scott, this house, houses that in the past 6 months that have sold in Union Township, that went under contract in 10 days, have sold for an average of 112 of ask price. So this one's at 550. If you want to have a reasonable chance of getting it, would you think, a baseline of 12% above that would be reasonable?
Yes.
Great. And then I have homes that are over 30 days. If you happen to catch a good home that's been stale, they're only going for 2% above ask, but they're still going above ask.
Yep.
So I think giving this information will separate us from the rest of our competition, because I don't think most people, go into this level of detail and this doesn't have to be for every house that you see, but I think it's relevant to do for a particular market where they're buying, like in Sunrise. All right. And Scott, you have to unmute yourself in a second.
I'm also
So,
listening.
so after you do that, I'm going to take a look at there's 6 properties on the market right now. And they range from 1 to 25 days. So none of them have kind of hit that stale 30-day mark yet. But let's just say we find a property beyond the market. How about if I look at, Bernadette and Tom and how their listings perform?
That's not me, Rob. I'm already muted.
Yeah, I'm going to mute everybody again. So if we look at Bernadette and Tom and how their listings perform, and you'll see that, Bernadette on average, sells her listings for 11.58% above ask. And Tom, these are actually two real agents in the same marketplace. Tom sells his listings even in this great market at 98.53, almost 1.5% below ask price. And sharing this information, I think, would be helpful because there's the market, and then if it's a Bernadette listing, we might know that she might have a tendency to price it, more ambitiously to get more offers and pricing it a little bit below the market. And Tom might have a tendency to overprice stuff, so we might not have to bid as high if it's a Tom listing. So I think this is going to add tremendous value to our clients when we're talking to them about how to make offers on properties, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And in South Florida, I know, well, hopefully all of our agents are aware, the Hometown Heroes program does start again July 1st. There was another $100 million that was put into the program, but that's going to cause a big influx of buyers, especially in the, I would say, under $650,000 price range. So if people aren't aware of that, they need to be prepared. I know we had a waiting list. I've got 3 different buyers already pre-approved, already ready to go. And legitimately, we're starting January 17th, going out looking, hoping with 45-day contracts to be able to lock them in. Because those homes are going to go even quicker, because summer's our busiest 3 months. On top of the fact that now they've got that money to be able to have the down payment assistance and the limited inventory. So
I want to get some feedback on like what's missing. I want to be like the negative person. What's missing from that buyer presentation that I can improve upon?
I think it was great. Are we going to get that copy editable today?
Yes, you'll I will Fred, are you on? Fred Lopez? So what you can do is go
Rob.
through. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if we get it, maybe we could all look at it and then give you some feedback for next week.
All
But
right.
it's really good.
So here's what I'm going to do. On the email that went out to you, did you all get the email for the mastermind today with my little video?
Yes.
There's a link there. Here, I'm going to just show everybody. I'm going to do and show. Okay, and mastermind link. So over here, you have this link to the exclusive buyer agency appointment. It's going to take you here. And I'm going to, nothing like being a little glitchy.
He was the first teenager ever to reach the #1 ranking in the ATP. 36 weeks there.
Are we gonna have to go through all this to download?
Nope, you won't. So all you have to do is click on that now and it will take you there. So if you go to the email that went out, you click here and you'll have the sample of it right there on the top.
And did you say this is editable with our own information?
Yes, and for most of us, if you're like me, I'll have somebody from our team, Fred's team, to edit it for you. If you have some information about yourself, a bio, whatever you want to do. And then if you want to customize it for a particular client, you can put the active listing count, all this information here on there yourself. Okay. So I'll have a recording done by Fred that will show you how to edit it. And we'll also have resources where we can do adjustments for you based upon, what you like and what you don't like about it. Okay.
That's amazing, Rob. And when will all that be available?
So you have this available right now. If you are motivated to do it right away, try to figure out the best way to, what I'm going to do? I'm going to have a.
And all of a sudden, what do you know? You're the exclusive provider into Romania. How about that, huh? That, I think, will.
Okay. I'm gonna put a bit.ly here. I'm gonna have Fred add a bit.ly
What do you call it?
form for support. So if you want support, if you want help with this, okay, customizing it. If you go to the link from the attachment, Fred will have a form there. You fill it out, you say, you know, it's Jeff Pretzer from Plantation. I want to help with it. And I'll see if Fred can even put like a Calendly event there, a Calendly where you can schedule a time where you can meet with Fred or one of his team members and they can customize it for you. How's that?
Is that all gratis?
Yes.
Very nice.
Rob, I just have to take a minute to say that this is the most comprehensive presentation that I've ever experienced. And I think that this is definitely going to class us out from all the other realtors who, you know, just fly by the seat of their pants. This makes us the true professionals, which has always been the backbone of RE/MAX. And I think that the effort that you've put into it on our behalf is just amazing. So thank you on behalf of everyone who's the 100
Yeah,
agents.
we really appreciate it.
You got
Yeah,
it. So,
absolutely. Thank you.
so Robert and Jeff, it only has one deficiency, which is it doesn't work if you don't use it.
Well, that's true.
All right. So I think we need to learn how to, you know, be comfortable in the conversation. And you know, I think if you put a video in the front about, like, you know, to humanize yourself and maybe even a couple spots along the way, it's going to make this so much more impactful, right? And this can be a leave behind for them, right? And they're going to go and they're going to take it and they're going to have some other agent come and say, how come you don't do this? Right? I mean, it's gonna really differentiate us. And when you talk about, you know, what's our compensation, I think that it takes the resistance down when you have, you know, tremendous amount of value that you present before you know, ask for that agreement. So I have to, you know, what seems missing so that we can improve it? Was it too complicated? You know, share with me like what your thoughts are on it.
If we want to share this with some kind of a link so that we could talk, so if we have a buyer client that's not right in front of us, so I deal a lot of out of state, out of town buyers. Is there a way to link this to them?
You can send it out as a link in your email. And Jeff, I want to get you and everybody comfortable where you can put a video on the second page, right? Maybe the second page is like, hey, here's what's about, you know, Jeff, and, you know, how you sell air parks and what your specialty is, right? But then maybe the fourth page is a video you talking to, you know, Robert Garver about, you know, his own needs, right? I think that would really blow away your clients, right? And say,
Yeah,
hey,
I'm not afraid of the old selfie cam. I just over Tuesday and Wednesday of this week, I did 750 miles, visited 9 air parks. And while I was at Mount Royal Air Park, I had professional drone and pictures taken of a brand new listing I have up there, which is way up in Crescent City. But I think I took about 6 or 7 selfie videos on the way back of various air parks.
And you know, one of the pieces to that puzzle that's going to need like constant refreshing is going to be, you know, like the market data, right? Because I pulled that market data off of KCM, and I guess you know, is anybody a subscriber to KCM?
Yes.
Yeah, I've been since 5 years.
Okay. And Glenn,
What does
you get
KCM stand for?
keeping current matters.
I'm sorry, I heard everyone at once.
Keeping current matters. Right? So what we could do is, and I don't know, what the demand is for this and, how it would impact our support team, but, exporting some data, maybe having a few customized pages there, that probably is something that we can pull off with our offshore team. And, the last mile, which is analyzing the local data. Has anybody broken it down like that and share that with your clients? Because it really does have significance, right? It makes it easier for a consumer to feel confident making an offer of 12%, 15% above ask when they have that data, right? Does anybody else do that, or am I like a pioneer here?
Every time.
So Chief Baker does it. Anybody else? So maybe one of our upcoming sessions, I'll even kind of just walk you through, and it can maybe be a workshop on how to take that last mile for your buyers and show them how that market's behaving. And one other thing that I'll mention is, I don't think any of the people that bought, even if they've quote unquote felt like they overpaid over the past 3 or 4 years, financially regrets buying their house, right? Because most of these people that you sold the house to, they're probably like got a preferential interest rate and the home value went up tremendously. And I do believe that the buyers that are before us now have a similar opportunity to get in the game, and 4 years from now have a boatload of appreciation, have the benefits of home ownership, right? And I don't know if most buyers are going to relate more to the non-financial piece or the financial piece, or maybe one of the buyers relates to one and the other person relates to the other piece of the data. But I think that if we can customize these, I will have Fred set up a bit.ly on that sheet there. I hope that at least 5 of you fill that out today, and we can try to see how we can customize it for you, and then you can get to work with it. So if you have any suggestions when you go through it, please share it with me. I'm humbled that you think it was valuable, and I really do want you to take some time and think about what can make it even better. All right. Mr.
Robert.
Durso, did you have a comment? You're on mute there, sir. Robert, you're on mute. All right. All right. Anyway.
Rob,
Yes.
sorry. What about just putting a little piece in there about having the right experts available to assist them, like mortgage, inspection companies, title companies?
Yeah, I mean, and the resources that we provide, there's nothing in there about that. So that's a great point.
I'm unmuted. I was going to suggest, most of us are considered the neighborhood concierge for our people. I know a lot of you get phone calls even after or anytime during a potential transaction. Hey, do you know somebody who does this? Hey, do you know somebody who does that? So I think providing resources is a great idea. At the end of all your materials, and even saying, for a list of my resources or whatever, call me. But I think it's great.
And Rob, one other thing I always have with me is a laminated card that has anyone that they can pick off the card, and I'll dial them on the spot, reference wise.
That's powerful.
Yeah, when you know that they're going to pick up every single time, heck yeah, it is.
So I appreciate everybody, all your feedback and input. I just want to make this a little bit better, and I also want to see us, take control and gain some market share by highlighting, everything that we can do for them, and maybe even as we as we commit it to paper, maybe we just make ourselves a little bit better because now we see opportunity that we didn't see before, right?
Thank you.
You know, you're welcome, Karma. And for us old dogs like Mr. Durso and I, like, you know, sometimes, you know, changing after all these years, you know, it's a shift, right?
Hey, Rob, I got a quick question before we go.
Go ahead.
Have we had any recent changes to any of our forms, in particular, either the listing agreement, the exclusive right of for listing, or a buyer agreement form?
That's a Colleen question. That's a Florida Colleen question.
Yeah, not yet. It's coming.
It should be this month.
So if you're on our Florida side here, I will be the 11th and the 13th. I'm going to be having a buyer conversation live. I see Karma's on. Karma, are you able to talk?
Sure.
So it's going to be an improved version of what I did when I came down to Princeton. You know, maybe was that worth it for you? Did you get like what did that help you with, or did it? Are you there? So anyway, I'm going to go into the.
I'm sorry, you're being cutting in and out.
Yeah, no. So I was just mentioning that it's going to be. I'm doing what I did in Princeton down in Florida, and hopefully I'll have my full voice, and it will be, you know, having
Sorry, the
conversation.
connection is not.
No worries. So it'll be having conversations like, you know, Karma, has anyone taken the time to sit you down and share with you what it takes to be a successful buyer in today's market, right? There are some strategies I think that are going to be able to deliver consistent appointments for us by positioning it that way, and sharing with them what it takes to be successful is what we just talked about, right? It's sharing with them market information, local market information, and putting it in bite-sized bits. You know, if you're making an offer in Union, New Jersey for a 4-bedroom, 2-bath in that price range, and it's new on the market, you're expecting to pay 12% above ask price. Now, unless you have that one agent that, you know, overprices it, and I share that with you, you're going to have the benefit of all that information. I think you're going to feel more comfortable, you know, making those decisions. So that's what's going to happen on the 11th and the 13th in Plantation. And actually, Colleen, it's going to be at the board, right?
Yes, it's going to be at the Tamarack Association of the beaches.
Right, and then we have, is Plantation on Tuesday?
Yes.
Right, is it?
And then on Thursday, we're going to be
in West Delray.
West Delray. So I look forward to serving you all there. And please fill out that link. It'll be done before 1 o'clock today, maybe even within half an hour. And let me make your presentation better, and it'll make us all better.
This was phenomenal, Rob. Thank you so much.
Have a great
Thank
weekend.
you.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you so much.
Thank you, Rob.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.